Um, Everyone is muted today, but we would like this to be an interactive session. So please go ahead and enter any questions you might have in either the chat or the Q&A feature. And if possible, when we get through the main bulk of the presentation, we may be able to unmute you and allow you to interact with both Melissa and Zoe. So that's it for me for today. I'm going to turn it over to Zoe and Melissa now, and they will give you your presentation.
Perfect. Thank you, Amy. So, as you said, if you would like to be unmuted and ask questions, that way, if you prefer, you can raise your hand and Amy will see that and be able to unmute you as well. We do want this to be interactive so that you can get the answers you need and anything else that might interest you. But again, my name is Melissa. I have been with Action 3.5 years, but I've got 20+ years in the AE industry experience and have enjoyed almost every part of it, but looking forward to Vantagepoint and what it can do for you. And Zoe?
My name is Zoe Revere. I'm an application consultant on the AES team. I've been working with Vision and Vantagepoint for 9 years now, I guess. So I have experience in multiple facets within Vision and Vantagepoint. So excited to talk about your upgrade.
Perfect. Let's get started. We're going to talk about obviously the upgrade, but we're also going to talk about why would we update now. We'll share with you our 4-step upgrade process, and then we have a couple questions already that we have been asked repeatedly, and want to make sure that we cover those, and then looking forward to any other questions that you all might have. So one of the things people ask is, why Vantagepoint? What's it do for me? Why is it better than Vision? I usually give the example of you can either use your flip phone or you can use a brand new smartphone. Same kind of concept. But Zoe's going to share with you some very specific items of what makes Vantagepoint better.
Yeah, so we'll start off with the user experience and the new modern interface within Vantagepoint. So one of the main features, I guess, of Vantagepoint that makes it more superior to Vision is that it is browser agnostic. So you can use it from any browser, Chrome, Safari, Firefox. So you're not tied down to Internet Explorer. So you can use it, on a Mac or, a PC. So it's more accessible in that regard. Also, the user-friendly and intuitive design makes it easier to navigate. You can see in this first picture is the navigation pane on the side of Vantagepoint, what you're used to seeing in Vision on the summary pane. There's this Find Application box at the top. If you have multiple applications, you can just search projects and it'll pull up the projects in the projects hub. So that's instead of scrolling through your whole summary pane to find the application that you're looking for. Also, these 3 little lines are the summary. The navigation pane is collapsible, so you can get a little bit more real estate on your screen. The first picture is it expanded, and then the second image is it collapsed. Also, there's a favorites menu on the navigation pane. So you can star different menu items and you can go to your favorites navigation pane and you can see all your favorites within that favorites navigation pane. So if you only go to a few hubs regularly, you can just star them and then just go to your favorites instead of navigating through all the hubs that you might have access to. Also, it's this find field feature within Vantagepoint is very helpful. If you go into other actions and find field, you can type in, for example, biller, and it'll find all the fields within that screen that use your keyword that you typed in, or project manager, or whatever the field that you're trying to find.
That's one of my favorite features, to be honest.
Yep, it's very helpful.
There's a lot of custom fields. It certainly helps you find the field you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. And it'll show up, say you type in project manager and you have 3 fields that have project manager in the field name, it'll pull up all those 3 fields to on different parts of your screen. So you can cycle through and see all the fields with that keyword linked to it. Also within Vantagepoint, there's some new AI tools. So there is, first starting off, the help function is database location specific, which streamlines results. So in Vantagepoint, you can just go to this help, this little question mark, and it will relate to whatever screen you are in Vantagepoint. It'll take you to that section of the help. So say you're having an issue, you're not sure about something in firms, you're in the firms page in Vantagepoint, you go to this question mark and it will take you to the firms help area within Vantagepoint help, which is very helpful. So you're not, digging deep into the help feature. It'll take you right to where you need to go. Also, Ask Della is a new AI feature that replaced Hey Deltec. So you could ask it questions like, who is the PM for a certain project? And the assistant, Ask Della, answers, Sarah Jones, for example, is the PM for X project. And then you can ask it questions based on that project you were talking about. So you asked who the PM was for a certain project, it gave you an answer, and then you could say, what's the AR for that project without mentioning the project again, and it remembers the context from your previous question. So the more you use it, the more it kind of learns the questions that you ask and gets more detailed answers for you. Also within Vantagepoint, there are smart summaries within the projects and the firm records. You have to turn this on in settings and enable it in your role, but smart summaries on the firms tab, for example, will give you an AI summary of that specific firm. So how many projects for that firm, what's the total revenue that we've received from that firm, outstanding invoices for that firm, something like that. So that would be the smart summaries within projects and firms in Vantagepoint. So next, something within Vantagepoint is the project lifecycle. So within Vantagepoint, opportunities and projects are combined. So you can manage the entire project lifecycle, reducing double entry and streamlining processes. So instead of, entering an opportunity, and then once the project is awarded, entering a project, some of those fields are the same. So you're entering information twice. Now you just enter, that information one time, and it's all saved under one record, and you can change the stages within the project lifecycle from, in pursuit to an awarded project. So you're not, going back to, 2 different records. It's all saved within one record within Vantagepoint under projects.
We have found this to be very positive response from all of our clients, even those that were apprehensive about losing opportunities. It's proven to be very, very helpful for them, just keeping the entire package together.
Yes, definitely. So same kind of thing, projects move through stages from in pursuit to awarded, gathering the required data to ensure seamless handoff from team to team. So you enter, like you would enter an opportunity in an in pursuit stage, you would just enter a project in an in pursuit stage, and then all that basic project information is already in Vantagepoint, and then you just go through and change the stage instead of, entering all that information again. All opportunities not linked to a project will come over as in when you move from Vision to Vantagepoint, all opportunities not linked to a project will come over as an in pursuit project. And then opportunities and projects that are linked will come over as one record as an awarded project within Vantagepoint. So dashboards are also an enhanced feature within Vantagepoint. So they give live time data at the fingertips of people that need this information. So within Vantagepoint, users and roles can have multiple dashboards. So in Vision, you just had one dashboard and that's all you got. So in Vantagepoint, you can have multiple dashboards. Say you wear different hats within the company. You can have a project manager dashboard. You can have an AR dashboard. You could have a principal dashboard, a CEO dashboard. So there's tons of different dashboards and dash parts that you can be given to get real-time data that is necessary for running a business. So global and personal dashboards are available within Vantagepoint, giving your firm the flexibility to manage how you see fit. Like I mentioned, dashboards by role, you can give dashboards by role or by employee. And they also have, most dash parts have drilled down functionality. So you can see in this image of this pie chart, you hovered over this orange part of the pie chart and it's the estimated fee, and it gives you the amount that's qualified. You can drill down, it'll take you to another table with more information. Also within Vantagepoint, most of these light blue text is links. So this would be a link to, it would probably take you right to the activity. And then with this pipeline dash part, you could probably hover over commercial and you could see, more details within the breakdown of your pipeline data. So there's the dashboards within Vantagepoint are very dynamic and user friendly. And you can also, like this person has, multiple dashboards. Sales, business development, principal, project performance, they can have multiple dashboards. So instead of, running reports and emailing them out, it can just be right on your dashboard. So you don't have to, wait for those reports to maybe be emailed once a week. They're on your dashboard. You can access them whenever you want to.
Resource planning. Oh, one of the reasons that people did not use planning within Vision is because of the lack of connection. And in Vantagepoint, they have finally rolled it all together. Everything talks to one another. When you change and add a phase or a task or something within your project, it's automatically in the plan as well. The structure is reading from everywhere. It's a full connection. Not only that, they've now added things such as the critical path. And you'll see in the second example there where you have your line seeing what drives the other. So you're able to set dependencies, which many people have requested, which allows you to simply, grab the top bar, slide it along the scale and say, I want it, we move the whole project out 2 months. Boom, it moves the whole project out 2 months. Seeing the critical path lets you turn on that feature when you're wanting to see what items are dependent on others to know for sure that you are going to be able to meet your schedule. Planning has come full circle. You'll also see, like, there's a contract tab for it. It's reading from your contract if you are using contract management. Otherwise, it will read from your compensation tabs that you're used to seeing in Vision. And the schedule one is the one below. And then, of course, labor, expense, consultants, and units are all the typical where you can plan it out by person. What's really nice is you can, within their labor tabs or any others, if you're wanting to assign resources, for example, you can just simply highlight the project, highlight 5 resources and add them to every single task that you want to all at once. Takes out a whole lot of the clicks, makes planning actually very nice and very quick. In addition Oh, go ahead, Zoe.
Oh, I was just going to say, like Melissa mentioned at the beginning, there's a 1-to-1 ratio. So Vantagepoint will create a plan for every project. So like she was saying, you don't have to, create, it's less manual entry because it's a 1-to-1 ratio.
At the end of this year, Deltec will be introducing some scenario planning to allow you to have some additional plans, but you'll have a main plan that's automatically created with every single project. It's already exists the minute you make a project.
Right. And then, like I mentioned too, this is the smart summary button for the smart summaries within projects and firms. There's just an image of it.
The other side of planning is the resource management. This has proven to be an extremely helpful tool. One of the things you don't see here in the clip next to it is that you are able to go in and say, show me all employees with this skill set or from this group, and you can save those searches. So you can say, like, show me my team. And then when you open each of these people, you can see the projects on them. You can reassign from here and move it wherever you need to go. Makes it very fast to see if you have somebody that's, way over scheduled, and you set your settings of what you deem as too much work on somebody's desk. Is it over 60%? Is it over 90%? So these are fields that you actually get to do for your settings for your business.
Also, those saved searches that Melissa was talking about, they can be used in the projects hub as well. So if you create a search within research management, it can also be used within projects. Nice.
Planning does also talk to timesheets, so you could have it automatically preparing your timesheet for you. And it has now gotten to suggested timesheets where you can pull up your planning assignments and say, add these projects straight to my timesheet. Some very nice features with the whole system talking together. And that's really what Vantagepoint is about. What she talked about with projects and opportunities and our plans is making it a holistic view of all your things in one place rather than jumping around. All right. So a lot of people have a lot of questions about when should I start and how should I start. And so we're going to take a moment and talk through. Action has a 4-step process for upgrades that we like to follow. And just to streamline the process and let you know what to expect. So our first step is we recommend for firms of any size pretty much is to do a Vantagepoint readiness assessment and report. This report goes through and looks at your vision system. It gives you a list of items such as you may have FedEx in your system 12 different ways. And don't worry, you're not the only firm. Everybody has that type of duplication. No, it gives you a list of, hey, these might be duplicate items. Here's a list of plans. If you use planning that may not be compliant with Vantagepoint because of perhaps you have levels in your project that are not mapped to a project level. The plan just, you call it a phase or a task, but you don't have it actually mapped to that level in the project. So when you upgrade, the system won't know where to put that plan. It also covers any of your workflows. It covers any of your stored procedures. It gives any custom objects, so a list of that, and it lets you review those. What we have found is that by using this, there is actually a reduction in the amount of customizations and fields necessary for the system to do what it does. A lot of people have added things in Vision for the purpose of doing things that Vantagepoint now does seamlessly and out of the box. It's been really nice to trim down systems and streamline some processes. The next step.
Also, I was just going to make mention too in the Vantagepoint readiness report with the merging of vendors and firms and projects and opportunities. It does show you, potential duplicates and potential mapping. So if you're worried about, the merging of those two hubs, the readiness report is a good tool to help with that.
Oh, that's a good point. So helps remove that duplicate happening. So then our next step was coming into planning and upgrade services. Zoe, you've been doing several of these. You want to share with what you do with the planning?
Sure. So our consultants will work closely with your team to craft a detailed plan for your upgrade. So that is aligned with your business processes. So we have collaborative planning sessions to work through, like Melissa said, your current workflows and capabilities within Vantagepoint. You might be doing something in Vision that's, you can already do out of the box within Vantagepoint. So we can eliminate some of those workflows and learn your processes to see how it can be best enhanced within Vantagepoint. So we tailor those recommendations for configuration changes, ensuring your new system meets both your current and future needs. So, if we go through your planning session and you say we want to grow the company 50% in the next 5 years, we can take those considerations into account when we're setting up your Vantagepoint. So a customized upgrade schedule and dedicated project management support to keep your upgrade on track is also included in those planning and upgrade services sessions.
Nice. And then our next step, data cleanup. This is part of what we were discussing earlier. When you see that you may have 14 versions of FedEx, some firms like to go in and themselves merge things together, think about it. We also offer services within our team that can help you clean up that data and get it prepared for Vantagepoint. A lot of firms like to use this as an opportunity for this purpose because many of the people using Vision inherited the system and they are looking for a clean break and an opportunity to say, here's a cleanup session while we go to Vantagepoint. So it gives you a window of opportunity. What are your thoughts there, Zoe?
Yeah, so a lot of people, it's Vantagepoint is taking your Vision data just into the Vantagepoint software. So if you have, duplicate records and maybe not completed data in Vision, that will all move to Vantagepoint. So this is a good time to clean up that data to make sure your Vantagepoint software is, functioning to the best of its abilities.
Perfect. And our final step, configuration and launch support. So as Zoe was talking about, we're going to walk through the settings in Vantagepoint, make sure is the system configured for your future growth and needs. And then we are going to walk through launch support, meaning that we are going to do a practice session for go live and then also the go live and make sure that all the pieces are taken care of during that process. Zoe, you've started with doing even several of these. So what have you
So we're customizing your screen designs. So the screen design setup is a little different within Vantagepoint than Vision. So we're customizing your screens, looking at your security roles, making sure, your different security roles are able to see all that they can see within the role, and then they can't see what they shouldn't be able to see. And then going into those dashboards that we mentioned to fit your operational needs. So we also provide comprehensive super user training to your core team and wider organization. So it's a train the trainer approach. So we're training, your core team and maybe some super users for them to go to other members of your organization and train those people on using the software. And then, like Melissa mentioned, dedicated launch support, including, on-call assistance during your transition to the live Vantagepoint environment. So, we don't just say, okay, here's your go live date, you're done. So we do help you through that go live, and then offer go live post go live support. So after you're live in Vantagepoint, if you come into any issues, we're available for that as well.
So let's talk about beyond your upgrade. There's a couple services that we find that clients want. The effectiveness review. Zoe, I'll let you share on that one.
Okay. So the effectiveness review, so Action takes a look at your whole database to see best practices for your system and give recommendations and benefits. So the end goal is to make your lives easier and do things more efficiently within your system. So we want to optimize your system, to do things, in the shortest amount of time with the shortest amount of effort. So it can be before your upgrade to Vantagepoint or after your upgrade when you're already in Vantagepoint. So say you move from Vision to Vantagepoint, and then your processes, we can come after you've already moved to Vantagepoint, and do an effectiveness review to look at your processes and see what can be tweaked and what can be changed.
Perfect. Now, Vantage Pro Tools is something that, Vantagepoint has fantastic functionality. However, we have found that there are several firms that also may want some additional components. And they may want some billing terms automation. We do offer some data analytics component, but then there's also things like they may want a hub for fleet maintenance, and hubs are what was envisioned as info centers. Master Service Agreement Hub, we find several firms would like a place to consolidate all their information and tracking for their MSAs, which projects are related, how much is left on the contract, when does it expire for your task orders. The Professional License Hub, we do a lot of those. Firms, now that Vantagepoint has become a tool that's more easily adopted and used, Professional License Hub is something that we see built out for things such as having a different page for each state, a different record for each state. So you may have like the state of Texas, and within that you would have a list of everybody that's licensed there. You would have perhaps your SOS, your COA, things like that listed there. How are you doing business as that? We see firms list perhaps additional licenses that are required in that state, such as in the city of Houston, you may need a business license when you're operating there, and so it lets you list what additional licenses you may need within the state, as well as what project is connected to that and the status of it. Because if a project that you are doing in the city of Houston is done and completed, you don't want to continue to pay for that license. That's how we see people use that. And then there's some revenue forecasting tools that we provide. And then the User Maintenance Hub is probably the one we see almost every time people would like to have. Within Vantagepoint, you may look in like a timesheet is the simplest example, where you may have the project name and then the project number and then the task number, or you can have that in any order you prefer. When you have a new person start, you may want them to also have all their grids throughout their system in a certain manner. The User Maintenance Hub is to allow you to take a specific user settings and copy those settings down to the other user, the new user. It makes it a quick start for people as they're launching into Vantagepoint. All right. So now we get into two of the big questions that we get asked. And the first one is, will I lose my data? And the answer is no. Data is not lost because this is an upgrade rather than a migration. So the same database is used. You just have a brand new interface. All your custom fields come, all good data, bad data, data that nobody knows what it is, it all comes over into Vantagepoint, so nothing is lost. The other question we get is, do I have to upgrade? And the answer is yes, in the fact that Vision is in sustaining support as of February 1. So, and you can see here, it means no code changes for maintenance, regulatory, or security. The biggest component there is if you do payroll in your system, the last update that Deltek will provide with tax information is January 2026. After that, there are no additional updates. After 2026 and 2027, Deltek will begin to wind down Vision operations. We recommend moving forward with your upgrades sooner rather than later, as there are a significant number of firms that still need to do an upgrade. And for resources and best attention from anyone, the sooner will be the better than later. And we also want to make sure you have time to test, that you like it, that you like what you see, and can move forward without any hesitation or concerns. With that, what
Melissa?
other questions do
Yeah.
you have? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, is there any questions in the chat that anyone?
There is not at this
Okay.
moment. Please go ahead if you have questions. We would love to answer them for you. Now's your chance to get personalized answers to anything you might be wondering about.
And then our emails too, mine and Melissa's emails are on the screen if you have, you know, a question and can't think of it right now, but it comes to you later and you want to email us, our emails are on the screen as well.
So someone's asking if they can get a recording. Yes, as I said at the beginning of the presentation, today's session is recorded and I will be sending out a link following the presentation so that you can view it at your convenience and you can share it with your colleagues. We definitely will give you a copy of this.
Perfect. Thank you, Amy.
Melissa, do you want to go over any of the other questions that we've seen? I know you have some.
Certainly, one of the big questions we do get asked is what's a time frame and for an upgrade, and we typically say 3 to 6 months, and it really depends on the fact that, you know, there is a commitment from your team as well as to what you can, you know, everybody has a day job as well. With that, we offer planning sessions as we kick this off, and what we have found is those firms that were concerned about having the ability to do the time commitment find that it's quite manageable after we walk through and say, okay, can we only meet 1 hour in a week, or can you give 2 weeks? So, but that, or 2 hours in a week rather, you know, so it's really dependent on your schedule and your time on it, what you can commit. But 3 to 6 months is an average of what we see for somebody to upgrade from Vision to Vantagepoint. It also depends on if you have a lot of customizations or if you have, you know, a very, what I would call vanilla system. When you have a lot of customizations, you may want to rearrange screens, or you may want to change how some of that's done. And that, of course, takes some additional time. So.
Still not seeing any other questions. Were there 1 or 2 questions from yesterday that we might want to? I know yesterday that one was one.
Let's see, we've covered several of them. So Amy had sent me over a list. So one of the questions is how will opportunities come over from Vision to Vantagepoint? And if your opportunity is not mapped to a project, which in opportunities is linked to a project, if it's not linked to a project, then it will come over as a regular project ready to use. So we recommend and assist with helping clean up opportunities so that you don't end up with a bunch of extra projects that you may not have wanted in your system. So if a project plan is not linked to anything, that's another question we've had, then it will not come over because it doesn't have anything to attach against.
And those are things, or those are items that come up in the readiness report. So don't think that, you know, you have to go through them, you know, manually within Vision. They're all compiled in your readiness report to take a look at.
And one of the one of the questions that we have seen also is, do I have to reset everyone's logins? And the answer is no. All your login information, your usernames and logins all come over from Vision as is. So for day one, they're able to log in if you let them. That's totally in your ballgame.
Also, a feature that I know a lot of people enjoy within Vantagepoint is the apps. There's time and expense app and a CRM app that are linked to your Vantagepoint system. So, you know, that you can't use the excuse you're traveling and you can't submit your timesheet. There's an enhanced timesheet app that you can enter your timesheet on your phone. Also, timesheet approvers, you can approve timesheets through the app on your phone. So this can speed up, you know, your timesheet approval process or your billing process to get timesheets in a more timely fashion.
Nice. And for those that are CRM minded, the Outlook integration tool, which we did not recommend when using Vision, is fantastic with Vantagepoint. Welcome to request a demo, and we can show you how that works and what it looks like as well.
All right, well, we don't have any other questions, so I think we will wrap up today's session. And like I said, I will send out a link to the recording following wrapping this up. Probably tomorrow morning, you'll see an email from me. And please do reach out to your primary consultant or someone you've been working with, your sales rep, anybody that you need additional information from. Zoe and Melissa are available to help you as well. So we thank you for joining us today, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, Melissa and Zoe. Great job.
Thank you so much. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.